In order, we'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Judge.
Jeremy McCarr.
Here.
Bernie Paparad.
Here.
Travis Dunlap. He's on Zoom.
Present.
Comic. Nicole Migliorini.
Here.
Aaron Adcock.
Here.
Approval of minutes, March 4th, 2022.
I'd like to make a motion to approve minutes from March meeting. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Roll call, Joe.
Bernie Paparad.
Yes.
Roseanne Bozak.
Yes.
Travis Dunlap.
Yes.
Nicole Migliorini.
Yes.
Aaron Adcock.
Yes.
Jeremy McCarr.
Yes. Town code updates, anything? For officers, committee and staff. Nothing, no report today. Travis, did you have anything?
No, sir, not today.
Old business, town code chapter 15, temporary use permit, construction trailers. Any thoughts or issues? I reviewed it really quickly. It looks pretty on point with what we had prior discussed.
We can tweak it further if between now and next meeting, we just need to set up a public hearing.
Okay.
I didn't see any issues with that. I didn't have any questions.
Pretty much what we talked about the whole time.
So, public hearing.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing. A second.
Discussion. Roll call vote.
Bernie Paparad.
Yes.
Roseanne Bozak.
Yes.
Travis Dunlap.
Yes.
Nicole Migliorini.
Yes.
Gordon McCormick.
I have no idea.
So the motion was to the ordinance that we got today,
Yes.
which was what we were dealing with before. It's setting it for public hearing.
Oh, okay, yes, with all the corrections. Perfect.
Aaron Adcock.
Yes.
And Jeremy McCarr.
Yes.
And so with that, it would be, the public hearing presumably would be on the May 6th. I don't know if that would give us enough time if it's approved for the council to consider less than 48 hours or 48 hours later. But just wanted to point because of how the dates fall. Because I believe the town council would meet on the second Wednesday, which is May 8th.
If it went to the next month, I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I just wanted to.
It's not necessarily such a time sensitive thing as just trying to address it. I don't think we have anything in the works now that would affect us. Taco Bell. And
He is on. Matt Ray.
Yes, can you hear me?
kind of.
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, hi, just checking in regarding the Taco Bell development. We just last week, signed on a civil engineer, McAlpin Consulting LLC. And, we're actually just getting started with drawings. The biggest unknown at the moment is, the sanitary sewer design. We had talked earlier about doing a septic field. My client prefers not to do that and would like to connect to a hard line for sanitary sewer. We've got a couple of comments from the engineer. One, there's a sanitary sewer, I guess, on the north side of I-20, which would involve directional bore and surveying for that to happen. And then somebody else mentioned that there's a line on the south side of the road, but it's 1,000 feet away. And so we're going to study or look into a sanitary main extension for that. Those are up in the air right now. So that's basically where we're at. I did email over an updated site plan today showing the accessory building moved back behind the front of the Taco Bell and rearranged the parking a little bit. That plan is preliminary. Some of the parking numbers were off. I just updated them, but I think we're proposing 31 parking spaces. So that's where we're at the moment. I'll take any questions you may have.
This is in reference to Taco Bell, correct?
Correct.
Well, my personal feeling, I'm not happy with the driveway in this. He mentioned in the last meeting, he wanted to build possibly apartments on the west side of that property. That's more and more access on 20 in a very short amount of space.
I didn't hear the question entirely.
Gordon McCormick had made a suggestion that he wasn't ecstatic with the entrance on US Highway 20 in conjunction with what you're trying to put in and future developments, I think was his concern.
I would prefer the entrance directly across from Lions Drive with a frontage road running east and west on the south side of 20.
What's that? I think so, but I've got a question about the entrance.
I
Doesn't
mean,
turn into his property.
I think that would be
Bozak's
the first thing.
So he's
still
gonna
is-
have to have an
we don't
easement
even know that that will approve as is.
to get to his property. He can use that.
Has there been any update from Indiana Department of Transportation on the potential entrance that you already have proposed?
No, we've been struggling to get a civil engineer on board, and hopefully he would focus on that aspect of the job. As far as, well, the reason that we, it's an existing driveway, that's why we chose it. But I don't have any comment regarding lining the driveway with the road across the street at this moment. It appears that it may be a little more further away from our development from the existing driveway, so there's more driveway to build. Other than that, I don't really have any other thing else to say. But if it's a requirement, then, so be it.
My problem is the existing driveway was for a used car lot. And the amount of traffic Taco Bell's been generating is far more than what that did. And I feel it's too close to the stoplight. And once again, when he made the comment, he wants to develop property west of there. I'd feel a lot better with one entrance, than a whole piece of property with a service road.
All right, I will bring that up with my client and we'll see what we can do.
I guess to jump on that, I guess my question is, and maybe I'm not looking at it right on this map. the existing entrance that's there, is that on your property or is that on another lot?
It's on our property. The property
Okay,
line
so that,
kind of zigzags to incorporate the driveway onto our property. And then there's a
okay,
crossover easement agreement in place.
I don't think so.
So even if we do build a new driveway for the Taco Bell, that driveway will probably remain as is. We were going to improve it to the highway standards. But it's our property, so we would have two driveways in unless they make us. We can't close it because it's the car dealership has an easement to it.
yes, sir.
You wouldn't have, I'm sorry, you wouldn't have to blacktop that entrance if you don't use it.
Pardon?
You wouldn't have to blacktop it if we come to an agreement where you had one entrance for a whole piece of property. There's no reason to have that one open that's currently there.
I'm not following your questioning. It was sold to Natron Corporation, my client, with an easement in place for both property owners. If in fact we are required or elect to build a new driveway across from the street, it's approximately in the middle of our site. You know, if we have to, I guess we could do that. However, I'm just saying, there's an easement in
It
place.
was all Coons at one time. So
For that
he
driveway.
wanted sold off chunks, and then owns that when he sold it.
Would NDAT allow us to have two driveways?
I think right now, we're trying to look at the big picture of the full development of this lot. I understand right now that the only thing that's going on this is the Taco Bell. But my assumption, look, so if, let's say, future development, we did see apartment buildings or something go in there on the rest of that property after it got subdivided. I think our concern is at that point, we would probably be looking at the point where I assume you wouldn't want everybody driving through the Taco Bell lot to get to their apartment.
Yes, in that case.
So I think we're trying to look for
In that case,
kind
it
of a
makes a lot
plan
of
ahead.
sense. So,
I think it's just something we'd like you to potentially explore. I don't think that there's a necessary requirement on our end that we can make you do that. I think that was just one of our concerns that we had been talking about, but at the same time, I think your proposed entrance is really just a matter of whether or not NDOT would approve that right now.
okay. Yeah.
And I obviously don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
So,
Let me run it by my client. Your point is very valid, I think, and yet we have nothing planned for the rest of the site at this point. He could, there's no motivation to do so because the price of the property was very favorable. And so he does not have to develop the rest of the property. But that's not to say if somebody comes along and says, you know, we'd like to see something here, or can we split it and sell it, then yeah, that may happen. So I will, we'll look into that. You know, it's a valid point.
that's all I got, unless somebody else has something. I think that's our major concern, and at least if you can do the due diligence of taking a look at it for us.
We'll do that, yes.
Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay. That's food for thought there. Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yes, sir.
On this item, before we move to the next item. McKellen and Associates actually reached out to us for some of the as-bills of the cemetery. Just wanted to let you know. We did not see any.
Because it was all.
Okay.
We are sending information.
So when he sold it, he
Okay.
put it down in there so that they were gonna.
Doesn't the sanitary run down the corner road?
I believe so.
Okay.
Not entirely here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else or no?
No, we're just looking at,
I just pulled up the county GIS and there does appear to be a jog at the line. I don't know if you wanna go down and see this, but it goes north and then it jogs to the east.
Right, I looked at the last time, it was there. It's-
And so apparently, and I do believe based on the county records, that this was one whole parcel and it was probably split to give the eastern, let's say 25% to where this used car lot. And when that happened, there may have been an easement granted. And then that way, the owner of the western portion would still have access through that same driveway.
New business, review of bonds, maintenance guarantees, letters of credit.
I wasn't given it by Jane, so.
I know I was late, I wanna bring up something. I guess in the very beginning, communication with a lot of people. Between the plaza, you wanna call it that. There's the repair facility, what's it called, the truck garage there. You- Between campland and the plaza,
Okay,
they dumped about 100 truckloads of clay behind there. So it raised probably about 2 feet. In the process of spreading it out. How can that happen? Did they cause problem with water runoff to the other piece of property? The east and the west?
Was this a permitted activities?
Not I'm aware of. Because you can't just raise your property with clay 2 or 3 feet. With nowhere for water to go, except for your neighbors.
That's where that Kenworth pushup's going in.
Yes, between Kenworth, Campland property and the Plaza property.
so it's what it is right now, it's called Rig Dock.
Ridge Docker, there you go, yes.
It used to be
The north end,
Scott's Garage.
the north end of the
prior to that.
property. There's probably 100 truckloads of clay dumped out there and they're spread where the Joes are right now. Raising the property at least 2 feet probably. What should we do?
Have we had any communication?
This is news to me, I
Okay,
I just saw it the other day driving home.
must have just happened recently.
can we take a look at
I will
that?
stop by her tomorrow. So
Okay.
I really showed that you gotta have somewhere for the water to go, it's clay, it's not gonna be so, it's not gonna.
Well, yeah, and that is disturbance, so they should have this permit for erosion control. Based on the stormwater ordinance that the town adopted, yes. But I'm not familiar with the project, I didn't actually pay attention to this.
I think
You can't see
because
it.
there is no project that's been approached by the
Right.
town, they're just doing what they're doing right now.
You can't see it unless you're heading on 94 between Portage and Burns Harbor, and you'll see it.
Is down the back of their lot?
Yeah, the north end of their lots.
Yeah.
I guess it is.
So they go all to the express lanes.
All the way.
right,
That's great.
but I don't think Rig Doctors has anything to do with that. I think it's the guy in Florida, Brown,
Whoever owns the
who
property.
owns the property.
Right.
And he's owned the property because it was in a lawsuit before Brown Company. And that's how Rig Doctors is, yeah, they're renting the front up there. But all of those trucks parked there, all of that junk sitting out there is probably being brought in by Brown. And he lives in Florida and he doesn't care. And somebody probably says, hey, I got some dirt. Oh yeah, I got all kinds of property. So And unless you go down 94, which I don't do anymore since I'm retired, so I don't see anything, or probably every one of us doesn't see anything.
Right, you can't see it for 20.
By the way, Chuck, if you have an opportunity to maybe have a conversation, and let me know. If there's any problems tomorrow, I'm here. Preliminary hearing, Shadyside Mobile Home Park South, side development, 1260 Oak Lane. If you can just kind of state your name.
Sure, my name is Mark Hartman, I'm the regional manager for Snowtown Capital, we're operators of Shadyside Mobile Home. And I gave everybody kind of a bigger, front page is just, showing the property line, the thick black line in here is really just our property line. And then the second page kind of shows the development itself. So this has already been approved by Indiana Public Health, all of that. This is also included with the north end development that we did last year and the year before that we have since built. But it needs to be kind of easements or, I mean, not easements, but zoning requires for that, everything kind of fit in a nice little box. This one here, we have basically one request. On the west side, I'm sorry, yeah, the west side of the property down here on the bottom. We are asking for a variance. Right now, the variant, or the code is you have to be 30 feet from the property line to put a structure there. And we are asking for those 7 homes that we could be 20 feet from the property line. And the reasoning for this is the size of homes we want to put on here are what we call real size home, full size 16 by 76 mobile homes. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, a little bit over 1,200 square feet. Basically the same exact homes that we put on our north end development last year. And so, what I said, it wouldn't take us 10 feet over that 30-foot offset. So we're requesting a variance to be able to do for those 7 homes, 20 feet. And then the rest of the development already meets the town codes.
I got a question for you. Sure. What zone is that in?
What zone?
Yes. Did anybody ever look that up? Cause I think the zone splits between Shadyside Road and the south side of the road. So you're in 2 different zones. So you're not in a mobile home district. You're in an R?
You're on ROS.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that makes a lot of difference about what you're.
Okay. I guess that would be the first thing we would need to request is either a variance to be non-conforming or the longer road rezone it.
If I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna try to associate us with the process itself, but I'm not quite sure what is the development, except with this, plan, I guess, that it's being submitted today. I think the confusion, I believe, that there was an approval for whatever is happening up north, because it's mobile park existing, as such. We requested anything that is on the south, which is this property, it's a different zone, and we are saying that depending on your development, either you go for rezoning from R to the same zoning that is north, and then there's a subdivision process after you change that zoning. So you have to divide the land itself to multiple lots, because you're gonna have multiple homes. So you don't have that yet on the south. So my point, I guess, that the process of rezoning, either rezoning or a variance, that's completely up to the applicant, but so the process is 1, either a variance for the existing zoning or rezoning, and then 2 is the subdivision plat itself that allow for those multiple homes.
Do you have a drawing of Mark? I mean, she showed me a whole roll of drawing of this new area with
dimensions of the manager over there, I mean,
You mean of the south end development?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all the dimensions are actually like the size of the homes and everything. What dimensions are you?
I thought they already had an engineer drawing from it, that's.
That's what, this is, the Great Lakes Engineering prepared these, drawings for
I
us.
saw a whole roll that she had from Great Lakes.
Yeah, it was probably just the larger prints. I made larger copies as well. It was probably just a larger print that Great Lakes, but this is the same thing, just in a smaller form.
Okay.
No problem. So I guess then I would want to probably request first a variance to the zoning, and then the longer term, with the longer term view of getting it rezoned to the proper zoning. So I know that can take a while, that can take quite a while. Depends on municipality, but, well, in Illinois, it's taken me a while sometimes, so,
The process itself, it's laid out very well actually in the town code. The subdivision process or changing the zoning, one or the other. Chapter 14 and chapter 15, those are probably your kind of the guidance, if you will, for changing the zone or variance. Or doing the subdivision as well. So chapter 14 and 15, your engineer needs to actually follow those two chapters. And follow all the notices and all the primary plat.
right.
All the engineering that is required and laid out very well, actually, step by step. And it's very, the town code is very clear.
I will call Mary Little with Great Lakes Engineering tomorrow. Get all that sorted out.
I know when this property changed hands and we did the rezoning, that this was brought up and they were talking about, oh, we're gonna move to the south side of the road, and we knew that it wasn't in the same. That's why when I asked them about the back, what, you're not in a mobile home zone, you're in RC2 or RC1 or ROS.
I believe so.
Okay,
It's an R, it's a
Yeah.
residential.
right.
Yeah.
And everything else, so.
So is it R or ROS? 'Cause ROS would be,
It's an R.
I mean, I guess.
I can actually get it exactly, it's the brown.
Because if it's ROS, we can't put a structure in there without, like, it's not even allowed.
We got it right here.
It's the brown color.
That's just straight up R residential,
It is R.
and on the map, the ROS is the green open space.
Correct. So it is the. brown area right here. May I?
Yeah,
That's right.
okay.
And this is the.
And then it's everything small, that they get, it's on residential, okay.
Correct. Would you like to see it? Yeah. See it good? 31? Going once?
So assuming everything went through and he gets everything at the BZA, is anybody like looking at this, have any issues with anything? That way, he's not going to get something and then you guys are like, oh yeah, I didn't like this.
I don't have a
You saw
problem,
something.
I don't have a problem with requesting use to 30 to 20. There's nothing to be built west of them. That's all Cliff's property and the settling times and.
There's nothing that's gonna be built around us, really.
Right,
It's
there's not
all-
building homes next door to them on the west side.
I just don't want him to go through the process with the BZA and then us turn around and say, oh, we don't like this needs to change.
Right, I mean, you can get everything in one meeting.
The only thing I would say, I don't know what those parameters are with this cul-de-sac.
It meets all the code for fire, for rescue.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
That we had to make sure, that was one of the things that we talked about, and yeah, we had to do a cul-de-sac big enough for a fire truck to go in and make a full, complete circle without having to back up.
So,
For school buses too.
So would this be a public road or a private?
It's a private road, so actually, probably school buses wouldn't actually probably go down that road. They'd probably pick up at the top of the road, right on Shady Side, where the public road, this would be a private road.
And like, is the road width, that's gonna meet all
It will,
town
yes.
code, all that good stuff? Okay.
Sure does.
So one of the things that, please, make sure of, I guess, if you are going through the process of variances, not rezoning. So you're set on variances now. The process of variance, make sure that the engineering is somewhat complete, so you don't have to come back to the BZA during the permitting itself.
Right.
The reason that I'm saying that, a lot of the time during the design itself, after you design something, and after you go through the BZA, you found that you need a development standard variance, not use variance, but development standard. For example, the road width, as you mentioned. Any type of variances, I guess, that is required sidewalk, that is gonna be on both sides. Any type of variances, I guess, that is gonna be required, excuse me, from a development standard variances, not use only variance. So, if you are going through the variance process, just make sure you have every variance possible that you're applying for. So you don't have to come back because it's a lengthy, somewhat of a lengthy process.
What we'll probably do is, once I talk with our engineer, we'll put something together, maybe share it ahead of time to say, hey, this is what we are gonna be presenting, does it look complete? You know, like I said, I just don't wanna, you're right, I don't wanna come back for, you know, for one meeting and go, oh, we don't have A, B, and C, we've got everything else. So if you're able to review it ahead of, somebody's able to review it ahead of a meeting.
Not quite sure about the BZA, if I can review the head. The BZA, usually they are like judges in a way, right? Like, I'm not quite sure if I can actually, review it before the BZA. The application has to come in.
Sure.
You should wear a tuxedo.
I'll still get that out of the front of the closet, I wear it all the time, you know?
Your engineer should be very familiar, with the process, I guess, and if there's an attorney as well with you.
Okay.
An attorney as well, if you're, it's up to you, right?
No, I think this is more of an engineering thing than, so long term, like I said, we could probably look at getting a rezone mobile home, but in the interim, variances. You know, even the stipulation is that we have to long term get it rezoned. I don't think we have a problem with that.
Do they own property east of that?
I'm sorry?
Do they own the property east of this section?
We own the property up to the black line up here, kind of the top right up here. But none of this is usable. Where you see kind of a dotted line curve, it's a ridge that's down, there's a creek down there, and it's not, the topography does not lend itself to put anything there, so it's just gonna stay open, it'll never be built on. So this is pretty much the only track that you can build on that's level before it starts to drop off into some of the creek beds.
On that topic, you guys could do some kind of retention wall on the one side.
You're talking about on the west side, where it kind of slopes down to the property.
There's a large cliff there right now.
There is.
So that'd be north south.
That'd be the east side, no, that'd be the east side. We're not building super close to the edge, we're actually keeping a good distance from there. There's a ton of vegetation there already, like we only cleared so far just up to the edge of kind of the usable area. All the other plants and trees and everything that kind of been in place for who knows how long, you know, kind of take care of that erosion control. I'm more worried about the west side where we have some slope that comes down right towards the back of the homes. And I was actually talking with Doug Williamson about this from the Department of Public Health. He came out last week and took a look at the site. And so we do have a plan for erosion control over there where it's going to affect stuff coming towards homes, not laying down the other side. So we do have a couple of different plans for that as well with, it's always really, you might see them sometimes, like when they're doing interstates, they have these big almost like thinner concrete blankets with holes in them. And they put those on embankments to help keep weight on the soil, but then you can still put soil over them and it allows grass to grow over it. But it has this heavy kind of thin concrete, you know, underground almost embankment that helps keep you know, the soil where it is. So we're looking at a few different options. That's probably our top one right now, though.
I got one question, Jeremy.
Okay,
The building out on Shady Side Road up in, what's that? Is that a
That's a mobile home.
double wide?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one's actually, that one's 30 feet off that road, so, you know, it'll, but yeah, no, that's a double wide home, that'll go up on Shady Side. And then we've got, of course, the one double wide home back in the cul-de-sac and 13 singles.
Oh, that's a double wide too?
Mhm.
Cause it does say, well, manufactured home.
Yeah.
And that could have went either way.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah, manufactured homes, yeah, it's a overall.
Okay.
Lastly, also just to make sure that the town has become MS4 since your last been here. That means that any erosion control permitting will have to go through the town. So your engineer will have to submit through the town for erosion control permit. And they can use the unified Porter County technical for the erosion.
Good thing you're here.
so based on the comments I got as far as the actual preliminary site plan, I think it seems fine by us. Well, you'll need to get, in order to be able to get a formal site plan review from us, once you get your variances. I think at least the way it's laid out now, as long as you didn't make any significant changes, that I think you'd be right on the right track at least. Assuming we have all the documents and that you obtain any variances that you're gonna need.
Yeah, no, I don't think, actually, as far as this site plan goes here, I don't expect any changes, actually. Yeah. I guess maybe one, we might add in a third parking, because right now we have 2 car parking for everybody.
Okay.
We may add a third parking space, kind of an L-shaped parking space, but that doesn't really change things too much. It's all gonna still be, no variance is gonna be needed for that, or any kind of, that'll just be through the permitting side of it, when we go to pull our permits to start putting stuff in the ground. But other than that, no, replacement of structures is not going to change.
Anything else? Oh, you're okay.
I would help you.
Anybody else have anything else on this? So it sounds like you're off to BZA at this point.
Sounds like I am.
So,
I actually think I'm on the next agenda with them already, so, I got a lot of. Do you know when that meeting is, the next BZA meeting? Leanne, I didn't write it down, and I don't remember. When is it, I'm sorry?
23rd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, all right, I'll do this. Okay. We'll be here.
so if you got nothing else, we're good.
We're good, all right, thank you.
The only thing I would like to add is if you are gonna end up back here for some reason next month, which I doubt, because I would assume the BZA is gonna be a couple of meetings, correct?
More than likely, yeah,
I mean, just the way that
but you
it
gotta
goes.
let us know, because we don't have a PZA meeting every month. If there's no business, we won't have it, so just don't show up here and think, well, I'm coming to the PZA.
I have a feeling I'll see you guys here in April. So over BZA, please.
I was just gonna add to that, my next topic is, the next meeting will be moved to the fire station due to the election being on the 7th.
For this board, not for BZA.
just for this board. Because we happen to meet the day before the election and they have all the election equipment in here. So the meeting will be on May sixth, but it'll be at the fire department at 6 p.m. if you're coming back to plan next month.
Okay.
That way, we're like,
We'll see how it goes with BTA in
right,
a couple of weeks. I'll be going to get on the agenda, but drop off that if we're not ready, so. I'll let you guys know.
as soon as you obtain the variances, I would assume at that point in time that you would probably have a formal site plan. And then we can get that to our engineers to make sure that everything is good to go at that point, so.
No problem.
Yeah. Cause I wouldn't wanna start paying my engineer firm to review a plan that you don't necessarily get the variances from the BZA.
I totally get it.
That's it.
Totally get it, all right. Thanks for everybody's time, appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good in the order, any other business?
I guess back to the Brown property, should he issue a stop work order at best? There's nothing. I know if I own CIP property, I'd be a little ticked off with all that water running off my property. Just clay don't, water runs off and don't go around.
I would send an email to the town council. I mean,
When's the council meeting next month?
yeah, but I would send a meeting to the town council like when we leave here, because waiting, like, I wish you would have sent an email to the town council the day that you saw it.
That was Thursday.
Well,
The point is,
So Thursday,
the
today
point
is
is, the
Monday.
point is, they're leveling right now, it needs to be stopped. Because they didn't come before any board to get a permit to raise the property 2 or 3 feet. And no drainage, no.
So,
Needs to stop.
quick question,
There's a process.
okay,
let me ask the question, is there an excavation permit that has been pulled through the building department?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. The only you see,
At least he
see
sent
the,
me an email, so
the work
I
going
have
on.
direction to do it, he's like missing the point.
Well, I tell you what, you can laugh all you want. Don't do
I'm
it.
not laughing, all I'm saying is you can send me an email and I will give Chuck
See,
direction from
I
the
have
town
no
council.
emails, I have no phone numbers, no nothing. So, well, the direction is now Chuck is sitting here, I think it needs to be stopped before they continue.
And I'm
No,
trying
and-
to explain that there's a process
And if I
in
could
which
just
you,
jump in here, I don't know if the plan commission has the authority to direct the building commissioner to issue a stop work order. I think that the town council can certainly do that, but since obviously Chuck's here and we have a council member here, I think that Chuck can certainly go out and inspect and see what's going on, and if in his, position and authority decides that there's violation due to a lack of a permit or lack of whatever that needs to be occurring, then he can certainly issue a stop work order.
That's what I wanted to hear.
But at the same time, I think that communication, can be had, and certainly emails can be sent, and I'm not sure if you're saying you have emails, I think all of the town council members' emails are on the town council website, and all of the people who are on this board, which includes the town council member, everybody has everybody else's emails.
Okay.
So it's, communication's a two-way street.
good. Anybody else have anything else under good order? I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Discussion. Roll call, Bill.
Roseanne Bozak,
yes. sorry.
Travis Dunlap,
Yes.
Nicole Miliarini,
Yes.
Gordon McCormick,
Yes.
Aaron Adcock,
Yes.
Bernie Paparad,
Yes.
Jeremy McCart.
Yes.